wine. That was silent. He said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. 5 years ago, the world lost a legendary actress and iconic figure amongst the civil rights movement by the name of Cicely Tyson. She played roles in major films and her characters always stood out. In an interview with Gayle King, she has claimed that she didn't know how her life touched so many. And at the conclusion of the interview, Gayle asked, "How do you want to be remembered?" And Cicely Tyson declared, "I've done my best." When you encounter the life of Jesus, you will discover that for 3 years, he did his best. When he turned water into wine, he did his best. When he healed the sick and raised the dead, he did his best. When he opened blind eyes and gave them sight, he did his best. When he spoke truth to power and confronted the powers that be, he did his best. And all that we do and all that we say, it is incumbent upon us to do our best. We don't have to worry about the rest. Do our best. And in the words of St. Jerome, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. And from the 6th to the 9th hour, Jesus has accepted the plight and position of his assignment. It is clear that Jesus would not last much longer. His body was shaken beyond his control. His chest was pounding severely with every tortured breath, and he held on as long as he could. He endured the shame, scrutiny, and struggle of the cross, for he was nailed in his hands for the things I should not have been touched. He has nailed in his feet for some of the places I should not have gone. He has a crown of thorns on his head for some of the thoughts I should not have thought. He was pierced in the side for some of the beds that you know you should not have slept in. But the one thing that was not touched was his mouth. And Jesus kept speaking, and with moistened lips, a deep breath, and a loud voice, he uttered, "It is finished." And when you come to the completion of your assignment, you can then make a peaceful departure. I want to tell you, number one, he spoke his best. The phrase "it is finished" comes from one word in the Greek language which has multiple connotations. It means to bring to an end, to complete, to accomplish, and do exactly what you're set to do. This phrase was written in the perfect tense, which speaks of an action that was completed in the past that happens still in the present. In other words, the action of the past continues in the present to become completed in the future. And when Jesus did exactly what he was set out to do, he fulfilled all of the prophecies in the Old Testament. He fulfilled the prophecy that he was the seed of the woman that bruised the serpent's head. He was born in Bethlehem, born to 42 generations. His body is going to be pierced. His body returned to the Father, and his bone was never broken. Nevertheless, Jesus fulfilled his promises to remind us that whatever we put our minds to do, we got to keep going until we finish. And in a world where nothing feels like it's enough, you can work and still feel behind. You can serve and still feel unappreciated. You can give and still be overlooked. But guess what? Peace does not come from people's applause. It comes from a purpose accomplished. You don't need their validation if you completed your assignment. All you got to do is be faithful, because when you've done your best, you ain't got to explain yourself to nobody. You just finish, because the songwriter said, "May the work I've done speak for me." Because he spoke his best. I say, not only he spoke his best, but he showed his best. The Bible said that when Jesus bowed his head, that was not a sign of weakness. All he did was incline and bent his head as a sign of willingness. Because just as a servant completes a task, a soldier completes their duty, a child completes their chores, an employee finished their work, Jesus finished what he set out to do. You know, the last definition of it is finished, Elder Knight, is that it comes from the word tetelestai, or tetelestai. And this word would literally be stamped across a certificate of debt after a criminal completed their prison term. And the certificate would declare that the debt that they had, the crimes that they did, that it was paid in full. And see, when you showed the certificate to anybody, it was a sign that you paid your debt and now you could walk away from the stage of incarceration. And see, as Jesus completes his earthly ministry, he declares to you and I that your charges have been dropped. Your case have been dismissed. The charges that were held against you are now eradicated. And it does not matter what your sin is. It doesn't matter what you were big and bad enough to do. It doesn't matter how many skeletons you have in your closet or how many bodies you have underneath your house. All of us are guilty. Last I checked, the Bible said that all have sinned, not y'all, but all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But the good news is that Jesus paid it all, and to all to him our old sin have left the crimson stain. And I'm so glad he washed me whiter than. Spoke his best and showed his best, but I got to tell you, he surrendered his best. The Bible said that Jesus bowed his head. When he bowed his head, he leaned his head back. And John uses this word which might be used to settle him back upon a pillow. And for Jesus, the strife is now over. The battle is fought and the victory is won. He doesn't place a period, but he places a comma. And a comma implies that there's a pause in the story. He was content in the end. He was in control